Yes. So, hey,
Hi, Audrey. How are you? With Dr. T.
I'm good. I'm good. I am really excited that we are back tonight. So happy New Year, everybody! I know this is the first time that we actually are back. Inhale, exhale with you guys in the new year. We wanted to give you a break and let you recover last week. So, so we decided to come back this week with some really, really exciting and interesting conversation for you guys. So, hey, everybody. Hey, friends.
Hey, y'all. It's your home. What we the health home girls.
I like that. Health Home Girls. Health Home Girls. I'm looking down only because this is a new platform, you guys, and so we're really excited to be trying something new with you guys. We're good. Told you guys 2021 is all of new beginnings, so we are bringing you guys some new info, new content, and new look. And so I'm excited to bring this to you. So I might be looking around a little bit because this is my first time doing this, and y'all know about my tech issues, but.
But she did a great job. She set this up so phenomenal. I told her she has to own her greatness, okay?
Yes. So,
Got this, sus.
see, let me mute my phone. Let me do this. Okay, so see, I got mute stuff. Okay, so I just want to do this because I want to make sure you guys know. So I'm Dr. T. This is your girl Danni Time
Hey, y'all.
today, and we are actually going to be talking today about maintaining your magic. And so we have a special guest with us today. As you know, drop your information in the comments and questions that you have, and otherwise we'll be putting questions out and just kind of talking and giving y'all some conversation for an hour. Sound good?
That sounds good.
Hey,
I was just making sure my phone was off, so
yeah, look, I
we'll
know.
have no interruptions.
So I want to bring Cynthia up just because I want to make sure that we go ahead and bring her on while we do the disclosure. So I'm gonna bring her up. That's gonna make Danni a little bit small, but that's okay, guys. Still right here, and y'all know she got good questions, so y'all bring them questions with y'all too. But I'm going to bring up Miss Cynthia Flowers, who is a nurse who works in health coaching and is amazing. You guys, I'm so excited to introduce you guys to her. I'm going to let her introduce herself as we always do because I think people talk about themselves better than we can talk about them. But I'm going to add her to the screen as I just added her to the screen. And
Hello,
then
Cynthia.
hey there, Miss Cynthia. You're muted, sweets. So I just want you to know you're muted. But I was just introducing you and saying, welcome to everybody. You know, this is Inhale, Exhale. As you guys know, we are licensed and certified and board certified in everything that we do. But this is our time to just give y'all some conversation from your health home girls, as we like to call ourselves. And so we're not giving you any direct information. Make sure that you are checking with your own healthcare provider before you do anything that may interact with any medications that you take or anything like that. So, so I want to say we were saying Happy New Year, Cynthia, because this is our first week back. We took last week off and we had the opportunity to talk on Clubhouse. For those who don't know about Clubhouse, you know, Danni and Dr. T and Cynthia, we've been getting our time in on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
So you guys gotta check into that if you haven't already. It's an amazing platform that is definitely going to be the new wave of 2021 and probably beyond. They do not pay me, but it is. Look, it seems to be
Information.
a word of mouth thing, though.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note because some people that I come across have been like a little like skeptical of it. Like, this sounds like some type of little, funny business.
But you know,
so I just want to say Clubhouse is all about your interest. There are so many different conversations going on with covering so many different topics. And I've actually interacted with some really dope people that had great information, and I've followed a lot of good conversations. So not into promoting, but I think if you are skeptical, just know with anything, any platform, there's going to be a category for everything. But
exactly, and you do not have to go in those rooms,
you
right?
don't have to go there. You can come to
Go
ours.
past
It's just a
anything.
conversation, you know.
So Cynthia and I had an opportunity last week to get on Clubhouse and talk, and her daughter joined us, and it was really really fun. And so I thought it was a good conversation that I really and lots of people wanted to know about the conversation. You guys, you know, it's 5 o'clock and my husband is walking through.
Right on cue. That's all.
Right on cue. On speaker. And he uses those earbuds, so I don't even know why his phone is on speaker. Okay, so he's leaving. But anyway, that being said, we had a chance to have this conversation. So I wanted us to bring it in because I know Danni, also being a millennial, has like some really and with the intergenerational health, which Cynthia, I want you to explain what that is in a minute. Is making transitions in her own life, right? So I thought it would be such a good conversation to have and let our audience be able to ask questions and just kind of vibe with you, Cynthia, because you are amazing, and I want people to meet you and learn all about what you do and who you are. So I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna flip this screen because I told you I got fancy new tools today.
Oh, look at her. Okay.
Okay, Danni. So it's you got to sit up some because your face is okay. There we go.
I'm a little short. Let me sit. Okay.
There we go. See, I got new tools, but we got to learn how to use them, y'all. So okay.
Okay, I find my little position. Okay, there I go.
Awesome. Okay, so Cynthia, please tell us about who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you both. What did you call yourselves, Danni? The health what?
The health homegirl.
Health homegirl. Oh my God.
One of our viewers gave us that name, and I'm like,
I love it. So I want to thank the health homegirls for having me today. I am excited about being here on the platform, ladies. Yes, so as Dr. Tanksley had explained and described me, I am a registered nurse professionally. I am a midlife mom. I am a mother of 3 young adults, now 23, 25, 27. I have to remember their ages. They just turned over this holiday break. So excited about just where we are in our journey and our space as parents, young adults, and then on me, my personal journey about health and wellness and how I'm able to influence their decisions. And that's a good thing. You know, as we get more information and you really, it's when I describe intergenerational, I should not make it sound like it's one way. I'm learning from them as well. So it's an inter-exchange of health, wellness, mental state of being, a way of thinking that I'm now just gleaning from these young adults that we've gotten to be 3 college educated people who are free thinkers, who share information and ways, perspectives with me. And then I can, bless them with what I'm learning as it relates to this wellness journey. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just a little bit about that for anybody who's just, watching, maybe want to know it's a little bit maybe about how I got started in this space. As I said, I'm a registered nurse, but my wellness journey didn't start until late in life. I didn't get started until I was approaching my 50th birthday. So I, really at this point now, 49, I'm 50 pounds overweight, approaching that 50th birthday. And I always tell people, female fat and 40 these are danger signs for us. And we know that things can continue to go south if we don't get ahead of things. But I was just, unhealthy, unhappy, and uncertain about what to do to change it. And when I discovered some solutions that kind of got me on track, allowed me to lose those 50 pounds over these last 5 years and really started amazing. Thank you. But so I just related all of that goes back to Dr. Tanksley's introduction on really getting your mojo back. So it's midlife mojo for me. It's like really redefining myself after that, raising our kids, being responsible in the marriage and, your career and all those other things that pull on you. that may make you put yourself at the back burner. And so I'm just excited about this season being a season where I can put myself and my personal priorities first, but of course, family is in there as well. So it's all full circle.
Well, go ahead, Danni.
No, go ahead. She already sparked up a bunch of questions for these.
You know what? I just wanted you to talk a little bit more about that, just because I know a lot of people are like at a space where they want to do that. You know, they may be like, man, I want my mojo back. I can feel that it slipped away. Like, and I want it back, but how do I even get there? You know, even trying to find, you know, we always talk about like, oh, I know I always talk about walking your purpose and walking your purpose. And sometimes I have to sit back and say, you know, not everybody knows what their purpose is yet.
Can I just say something right there real quick? Because that's so funny. She just took the exact question that I had. Like it was just really what I was getting ready to ask. But like defining your mojo and your magic, right? So you know what you want to feel like, and you know something's missing. But like Audrey said, sometimes you just have a hard time identifying what that is. And so transitioning through life, what would you like? How would you say? How can you identify that? Like, you know, something is missing and something is changing, and you know a space you want to be in, but how do you figure out exactly what is my magic? What is my mojo?
I'm just saying hey to everybody on Facebook right now. I see y'all comments, even though they're not popping up on here. I see them. And so I see y'all saying good evening. Hey, Adrian, Dr. Day. This is actually going to be one of our guests soon, y'all. Hey to everybody that's watching. Welcome. We've got Cynthia Flowers with us, who is a midlife mom, who is a mompreneur, as I call her, and just all things in getting your mojo back. So she's about to just kind of answer a question we were asking about how do you
identify it?
Yeah, how do you identify that and know that? So yeah.
So I know I'm happy that this is conversational and that we're not, giving any. It's not a prescription. There's no prescription for it, but it is just that tugging, that annoying feeling that, I'm not showing up as that best version of myself. And then, of course, for me, there was years of frustration. And sometimes I would bury myself in the work of being a mom. And so that's how we ended up with these roles kind of defining us. And then you get to, so many decades later and you realize, oh, they're going to be going off. I'm not going to be able to hide behind that cover any longer. So I really needed to do the work to discover who I was, what did I enjoy? Like little simple things. What is my favorite color? Like some of those crazy things that, kind of just get completely out of touch with because you're in roles that are fulfilling it for the moment, but they're not defining for who you truly are. So in this journey, I'll have to say that it goes back to really self-awareness. It goes back to a level of defining your purpose through maybe those gifts and talents, some things that you do really easily and naturally. People come to you and ask you to do it. You're the organizer for the family. You're the problem solver. You are this, person that they may come to and ask about recipes or some of these things that you may wrap a beautiful gift. Some of these things that you just do easily and naturally that you can kind of take for granted, you can start realizing in my journey, realizing that those are talents that you could monetize. Those are talents that you could create a business around, or you may just do it for free. Although I'm not encouraging anybody to do it. Like free is cool, but free doesn't get respected. And free doesn't always give you that level of validation. Honestly, I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation for another time.
Look, I told them you was a mompreneur. You better
coaches, but I've engaged with coaches who over the years, the first one that I invested in, because that's the other part of this, Danni, it's about investing in yourself. It's about giving yourself the time and space to do some things like clarity assessments, to do some, really Googling personality assessments and things.
I do it all the time.
Because it gives you an opportunity to kind of hone in on aspects of yourself and your personality that you might not recognize, or they're there, but you couldn't put a name on it. You couldn't put, you couldn't define it, that these are skills that could be transitioned into something that might fuel your purpose, fuel you finding your purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was great. I was going to say that was really great. Self-reflection and self-assessment, I think, is a very good start, because once you start to put like a name to it, and not to get so much caught up on labels or, names for things, but once you kind of get into the idea of, okay, this is what this is, or that's what this is classified as, and it drives you to look further into what that entails. Because I know I've done that, just like on a self-reflection journey, just taking different tests or trying to figure out this personality, or just looking at certain behaviors, like, why do I feel like this when this happens? And once you get that little piece of information, you go digging more about that. So I think that's a really good response and a good start, just to kind of start figuring out, because once you open up that little door, you start finding all these little cracks to climb into. So I think that was a really good response. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say real quick, like that we actually had connected on, and just in, I know you mentioned as you were talking about your journey, Cynthia, and I can definitely relate with that in my journey as well. Like, as I was about to turn 35, I had kind of a moment where I felt like I had gone so far in my career. Not that it was like my career was so far. I mean, I was 35 years old, but especially in the route to becoming a physician, it does take, it's a lot of years, and you spend a lot of time, and you're investing a lot in so many others, as you mentioned, as a mom, as a wife, as a as a student, as a whatever your career is, and you begin to lose pieces of yourself in that, and so I was experiencing that, and I too looked up, and I don't know what it is about the number 50, but I too looked up and was 50 pounds overweight, right? And I was like, man, and it was, my epiphany was when I was like rounding in the hospital with my medical students and my residents, and I'm walking up the stairs, and I get to the top level, Danny, I'm walking up mid flights of stairs, and I'm like out of breath, and I was like, man, I am too young for this, and I was seeing that, the things that I was saying to other people about their health, I wasn't living in my own life. And so it was right. It almost felt hypocritical in the sense that I'm telling people you need to exercise and eat healthy and do all this. And I'm like grabbing, whatever on the way home, eating out my pocket, sleeping a few hours a night, and, doing whatever. And you could see it. And I didn't notice it for years when you look back at yourself, but it's like you could see it in your skin, and and you definitely feel it in your mood. So I agree. I think, physically it can manifest sometimes as you look up and how healthy am I really?
And that point, Doc, kind of hits back on living in a level of authenticity. So that goes back to our magic as well. When we're living, a lie, or if we're living in a facade, and that could be debt, that could be, all kinds of things that we put on a mask, and we're not living authentically. And that really can steal your magic. That can steal your, that mojo, because there's conflicts from what what you want to be or what you want to purport, and the reality of it. And so we definitely want to work to get those things in alignment. So, this journey for me, and the wellness journey, and really getting the mojo back, is Danny kind of hit on too, the self-reflection, really getting therapy to some extent. And I want to be a better communicator in my marriage. I want to understand, why my behavior could be triggering, and how I could communicate differently. So all of that. And for me right now, and I don't know if it's 50, but it's about authenticity. It's about really being in alignment with your true purpose, and then to be doing things that are in alignment with God's purpose for our life. So that's really key. And it makes you do the deep dive and the deep work if you really want to make that change and transition.
Yeah. So I got some folks saying, hey, in the chat, hey, DS, how y'all doing? And thank you, Very much, Cheryl. We trying to up our game. So yes, we did have to get some new
Hey, Cheryl.
So thank you, yes. And I'm glad that we are speaking your language. Hey, Sharon. Yes. So I'm glad that you started mentioning a little bit about what you were when you just kind of said like in my marriage and in these things. So and therapy, so what are some tools that you used in your own journey? And I know Danny probably has a question too, but while you talk about that, I'll let Danny go next.
You're good. Like you're asking a lot of the question, just to add to the question, just basically juggling so many roles. Like women have this like crown of you can do it all, and we kind of take it on multitaskers. I'm strong and I'm this and I can do this, and the world puts that on us too. But in reality, we have emotions, we have breakdowns, we have fears, and so we do get lost in all those different emotions of trying to uphold this title of being able to do it all. Mm-hmm. So just I guess navigating through that as a woman, as you mentioned, a mom, a wife, and all of those things are jobs within themselves. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
And trying to be at the top of your career and the best self and be the, the communicator and get everybody to find you. So like, just how do you navigate through all of that and try to keep your own sanity and peace? As the woman title, we get tired too. Yeah,
absolutely. And to think about it too, I guess I'm looking at it in phases. Because I've been kind of writing it out even for my daughter, because we're going to do this another conversation on I call it midlife moms and wellness Wednesday, and looking at parenting from different stages. So of course, like when you're starting your family, it's one thing, and I'm looking at it maybe in late 20s, early 30s. And, it was in it. You kind of relating it to where you are developmentally, even like how you feel about yourself as an individual. Sometimes I look at it back in the 20s where I might have still felt like I needed permission or an opinion from others mattered more. And, in my 30s, I started feeling a little bit more independent in my own thinking and processes. And, we're kind of making sure that our home front, is more in alignment with the goals and the visions for our family. So not necessarily with mom's input or those external influences. Yeah. And then in our 40s, like in my 40s, it just seems to, there's another level of liberation that happens with that. Your ownership, you feel different. 40 does feel different, and you can, kind of command your space a little bit more. And then 50 again is just like, wow, it's like either we're gonna get this ish right or we going over. We going separate ways, we're gonna figure this out, we're gonna do the work, or we're gonna, leave it alone. But I guess I'm saying that to say that, it's been phases. It's been phases. And sometimes there's, moments in time where I felt overwhelmed. And, like I said, I would maybe bury myself in a particular role and just, be that great mom or focus on that one thing that you could focus on at the time. But burnout is real, and I learned early that it was okay to get help. Some of the tasks that we might do. And I think this generation, younger moms might figure it out sooner, but I'm listening to myself and I'm thinking financially, everything I wanted to do, I couldn't do. When we were a young family, there was constraints and things. I couldn't necessarily have cleaning service, those things that would alleviate some of the stress and some of the burden. But over the years, I eventually did get cleaning service. And now I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how I would have survived without cleaning service. And that's only to say it's not necessarily a luxury. It's one of those things that frees up your time, give you a clean environment so that your family can enjoy each other more or better, in that time and space, and not have to worry about that task that you might need to do. So that's just an example of it. It's not, for everybody necessarily. And then of course we still got to teach our kids lessons. So they got to know how to clean up and, how to be responsible, and then how to fail and not have us doing everything. They have to learn how to have some of those hard knocks in life too. So it's a process, but I'd have to say, trying to find and get help. And then groups like this, like it's a lot more common now, but I remember friends of mine, we started a group that was considered like our support group. You had to have at least 2 kids and you had to have been married, I think 5 years at that point. So because that way we knew you had some skin in the game, you had some struggles that were similar to each other, and we could communicate on
yeah.
To try to be in a marriage and trying to juggle 2 kids. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
community.
So I think that a couple of things that you just mentioned, Cynthia, are actually really good to pull out, because there's a question in the chat that I actually want us to talk about. I think this is a really good question. So DS asks, is it okay to know your purpose, or is it okay to not know your purpose? I'm sorry. Or is it a requirement to live a fulfilling life? And I think that's a
great question. Yeah.
Really good question. And I'd like to get your thoughts on it. I think I've got some thoughts on it too, DS. But I'd love to get your thoughts on it. And Danni, if you have your thoughts on it as well too. But because we talk about that a lot, right? Especially as we're like trying to maintain our as we're talking about, being the best people that we can be, and showing up in those situations, and being, good parents and good people and good co-workers and all of that. So yeah, I think that's a really good question.
Absolutely. And it changes. It's not going to be defined from 20 to forever, because it changes based on where you are right now. And so to me, during the time that I was actively parenting and raising my kids, that was my purpose. That was my number one job, to successfully get them to a point where they would be college graduates. And so we've done that. And so now I can shift and shift to something different as my focus. But I guess purpose, focus, fulfillment, those are some key, very interesting words to kind of reflect upon, because purpose does, in my opinion, it changes from time to time, and I'm hesitant in that only because I don't want us to define our purpose by roles.
Right.
Not a role, like being a wife it's not my purpose in life. Being a mom is not my purpose in life, but they're doing a good job in that role was important to me, and maybe it reflects in my overall and my larger purpose, which is maybe to build community and to inspire other people and to be an example. Maybe my purpose, I do feel, is like being a light, being an attraction to positivity and possibilities. So coaching people through whatever that might look like. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that it evolves. It's not just attached to a role, and being a nurse or being a doctor. It's not exactly that. It's larger than that. And then as we're on the spiritual journey, and then just trying to be more in alignment with doing work that adds value. That's what's important to me, like just trying to find and do work that adds value. And it could be in that moment, adding value to the school community, or adding value to the church family, or, whatever. I'm just thinking about those spaces where I've been in that I just wanted to add value. If I'm showing up to be the best, to show up and add something that could help somebody else live a better life, make their role.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that I think too, it's important for us to define purpose. Like, what is purpose? What does purpose mean to you? As you said, Cynthia, it's not necessarily a title or something that we attach ourselves to, but what makes you happy? Are you happy with the life that you're living? And I do agree that it'll change, because as you evolve through life, you've learned different things, you become wiser, you have different values and morals about certain things that you didn't have when you were 20, 25, whatever. So I think it's just exploring your comfortability and happiness with the space that you're in life, and seeing what that feels like. A lot of us feel like, we are here for a reason. And what am I here for? Am I here to offer a service? What can I give? How can I make my space better? How can I make those around me better? And even if it's not about the outside world, just your inner circle. How can I be a great family member, a parent, a friend, or whatever that is. So I think the first most important thing is just defining what purpose means to you, and if you're living up to what you value. And if not, then doing the things that we discussed as far as exploring, well, what is it that I'm, not happy about, or what is it that I would like to see change? And sometimes it just takes testing out simple things like your response to certain things or your behaviors to certain things. And I think it's important to know that behavior is there's something else attached to our behaviors, our dysfunctional behaviors, and exploring where that's coming from. So I think the first start with that is just, what is purpose and what does that mean for me? Because for everybody, it will be different. If your purpose is just to be, I want to evolve in this role as a mom, and that's my purpose. If that's your purpose, that's your purpose. Or someone else, I want to be a good community leader. I want to do something for the community. I want to do something for the youth. So I just think exploring what purpose means to you is a good start. And then that'll kind of just branch out to different avenues of figuring out you and figuring out if you're happy with the way you're living your life.
That made me look it up. What is purpose? And so, Merriam-Webster is saying it's the reason why something is done or used, the aim or intention of something.
Yeah.
The of being determined to do or achieve something.
Mm-hmm.
The aim or goal of a person, what a person is trying to do, become, etc. So, and then as it evolves, just really, there's so much around purpose-driven lives. I would just say, it's been about reading. It's been about getting and defining it for myself, because like the happiness and the fulfillment and contentment, those are words I struggled with over the years. I was like, happiness is a fluke. Happiness. What the hell is happiness? I'm like, okay, let me strive for contentment. Let me strive to be content with where I am, to have gratitude about what's happening, even circumstances, right? Mm-hmm. So that contentment versus happiness, that's helped me, over the years for sure. And the fulfillment part, it kind of really just has gone back to a level of gratitude, being okay with some of the things, finding joy and peace in some of, where you are today, each day. To find something good. Yeah. Hey, Doc.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear and see you. We lost you for a second, but you got back in real quick.
Okay, I can't. So like, I know y'all lost me for a sec, and I'm thinking like I still am having a little bit of hard time hearing y'all.
Oh, okay.
Say something.
Y'all gotta excuse me. I got like a runny eye. If y'all keep seeing me from my eye, it's like running for no reason.
I'm gonna figure it out. Told y'all, we're figuring it out.
We can hear you if you want to share.
I can hear you, Cynthia, but I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can't hear you, Danny.
Let me make sure.
No, I can hear you.
You're good. I my camera.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. So I'm gonna let you guys, because I'm a little bit out of what you guys are saying, I'm gonna let y'all keep talking.
Or you can share with us Facebook. That's been helpful.
Okay, good. Well, then I'll be the moderator. So,
look.
I definitely someone actually, as you were talking about kind of the spiritual things, so they were saying I feel that all is kind of coming down to spiritual things, I think is what they were kind of saying. I missed some of what you were saying, but I know I will agree with some of that, definitely, that so much of getting through definitely came down to spiritual for me, in my journey. And I'm always talking about just we were talking about purpose, and I know that was the where I got lost, and that's because the devil is a lie. I am gonna talk about this. Right? So I have wanted to go back and just say a little bit about that. I agree with you 100%. I heard all of the part at the beginning about that it evolves and it changes, and that our purpose isn't, we don't necessarily, I think you can strive and not necessarily know exactly what your purpose is, because I know that's something that personally I struggle with all the time. And that's one of the posts I actually posted like this past week was really about just that, right? Like, I don't want to be in a box. I have
Mm-hmm.
so many things I love to do and so many things that I feel like God has made me good at. And it's like, I don't, and so if that doesn't fit one,
Oh yeah.
definition of what somebody's purpose is, then so what? I am who I am and I can do that, and I feel like we always try to, like you were saying earlier, Danny, like we try to categorize it and put
Mm-hmm.
things in a box. And I think when we do that, we limit ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to be limitless. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I used to say to myself in affirmations. Like, I am limitless
Yeah.
because I don't ever want to be put in a box. And so if my purpose doesn't mean that I'm just doing one thing, then maybe you don't understand my purpose. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
And you know what? That's a great point. I wanna say something really quick to that because y'all just made me think about a personal experience. So sometimes, just to add to that, your purpose will kind of find you. Like if there's something that you're supposed to be doing and that you were put here for, and you're not even looking for it, it will find you. Because I say that because I went to school for healthcare. Healthcare since I was.
I'm not hearing Danny any longer.
oh, okay.
I got.
I thought it was me. Can you hear me?
Yes,
But
Okay, I thought
sometimes
it was
you
me.
get
I can't hear
muted.
Danny anymore either.
Danny,
Sometimes
you're back now. You're back now.
Okay, I was getting muted, but it wasn't me. See, look at that. I'm gonna talk about this thing. So I was just gonna say, like, your purpose can find you sometimes when you're not even looking for it. Because I was going in a whole different field. Healthcare is where I had my mind set up. That's where I'm going, and so didn't really understand why. I just knew I liked it, and I want to help people, and that's what I want to do.
They can't hear either on Facebook. They can't hear. Can you hear me
It
on
could be
Facebook?
delayed. Let's keep going because
Because
back
it said
now.
muted now.
Okay.
It was muted for some reason. But
I gotta figure this out.
it's okay. We're working through it. We working through it. This our new
They said,
way.
okay,
We're
it's
getting
back.
through it. But I was just gonna say I was driving in a whole nother direction, and over the years and over time and through different stages, it came together for me. One thing I always did like to do, and what I always noticed about myself, is that I'm a people person. And it started out with like just having gatherings at the house or game nights with friends or things like that. But professionally, I kept it focused on healthcare is where I want to be. And so I'm saying all of that to say is sometimes all of those little categories can come together for one purpose.
Yes.
So as I was doing that, I got my social life and my social thing that I like to do on the side for fun, and it gives me fulfillment. And then I have something that I know I want to do career wise and I want to move forward in. So bridging all those gaps together, I worked in healthcare for several years, and then I'm like, it hit me when I was financial counselor, right? So, as a financial counselor, technically, I was there to collect the debt for the hospital. Let's just be honest. But some people saw counselor and was like, no, I'm supposed to talk to you about all my problems. Like, that's, you got counselor attached to your title. That's what you're here for. And so I started to notice that's what would happen. So, the reps were like, oh, we'll take you to the financial counselor. I'm talking about your bill. Like, how can we help you resolve this matter? And they're like, so they said you was the counselor and this is what's going on and that's what's going on. And I had a situation where a lady just fully just gave her whole story, and I felt compelled to go above and beyond to help her. And in that moment, I was able to, within my capacity, I was able to get her bill resolved, talking to who I needed to talk to. But that moment was so powerful for me. And I had an aha moment like, maybe this is something that I should be doing, because I like how that felt and I liked what I was able to help her do. So looking beyond that and then starting to look at the social thing became because people gravitated to me. They gravitated to the personality. What is that about? So I started piecing all of these different little parts together and trying to figure out the one connecting piece. And I felt like, okay, I feel like my purpose is to serve and to help people kind of navigate through things and help them get through things and see the brighter side of the dark side, And so that's when I figured out I need to go. I kind of want to explore this whole counseling thing, And so that's why I took the direction, went to school for it, done some internships and works in it and worked with different people. And I really enjoy it to the point I'm going to further that, right? But then I also still have Danni Time events. So I was like, those need to come together, because when people come to events, they like dancing, they like how they feel, so I'm exploring all these things will still link back to being a therapeutic space for others,
Oh,
yeah, so I'm like, sometimes that purpose will just kind of chase you down, because now I feel comfortable in knowing this is what I'm supposed to do. And even with doing events, you come to a dance class, I do dance class, and we twerk, we shake it, we do all of that. But the feedback that I get, I've had women tell me, I'm a mom and I needed this. I'm a new mom, I needed this. Or, I've really been stressed. What you said in that class really helped me. And I'm silly, so I'll just be talking smack and saying different things throughout the class, but try to make it life relatable, give you some things that you can take through life. And I'll hear the feedback like, that was funny, but what you said really applied to me or really touched me. And we'll do mirror exercise and all these things. So saying all that to say, all of those different roles helped paint out to me the purpose or the path that I felt like I needed to take. And I feel fulfilled in that, and knowing that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I didn't go.
You defined it. I love that.
Yes. Thank you.
You are a counselor, and there's a personality type that talks about that. And in counseling, how you serve is up to you. And everybody, so many people need your support and services. Like, people are going to gravitate to you because that's the way your therapy speaks to them. Your wellness. This is me about wellness and well-being. So absolutely. Dr. Tanksley, I saw that question pop up from that 50-year-old person that's frustrated. So my heart is like, oh my God, I gotta talk to that person. Yes. If you don't mind, if I could just respond. I saw that Facebook question pop up. And
can you hear me? Because I'm still having issues. So I popped it up there so you could see it.
Yeah. That's a great one.
I found a new feature.
I was going to tell you that you can add the questions to the live too, the stream. Yeah.
That's cool. That's great. But yeah, and I do remember those feelings. Now, I will have to say, for me, I ended up discovering that some of it was, it's our life stage. It's some of it was menopausal stuff, perimenopause that I hadn't even recognized. I wasn't even aware of how much of a fog I was in, and decision making and having clarity and being able to just take steps forward on one small task. So there's some challenges that could be happening even just as it relates to that. So it really required, in my opinion, and I told Dr. Tanksley, it always seems to get back to nutrition for me. It always seems to get back to the state of wellness and well-being. So I will say and share this part of my story. In maybe 8 years before I actually started my wellness journey, in 2012, I remember 2012, I went to a doctor telling him that I felt depressed, that I wasn't my happiest self, that I didn't have my zest and zeal, and I just didn't know what to do. I was really, at my wit's end, frustrated. And of course, a medical physician, this particular doctor, pharmaceuticals was generally the first thing they'll go to. So he recommended an antidepressant. I used this for 30 days, come back, let's see how it works and let's go from there. Okay, great. Came back in 30 days. I was like, oh, I felt great. I felt like myself. I was lifted. I was even nice to my husband. We had sex, life was great. So I'm like, so what are we going to do next? I'm thinking he's going to be a partner in planning and how I could live be my the best version of myself. There was frustration in there, lack of happiness, all of those things. And he just lumped it as depression. But I wasn't completely comfortable with just only having a pharmaceutical solution. I knew that there had to be something better out there. So I was seeking, support around nutrition, around, feeling better about life, about coaching, getting that clarity about my purpose. So it really started me on a journey of looking, to fill that gap. And I remember telling my husband, this is not for you to fix. And he as desperately as he might have wanted to, like, why aren't you happy? Damn, the bills is paid and this is no, I'm still not happy, So it wasn't for him to fix, and it was something that I needed to explore. But I will absolutely say that when I started on the wellness journey with nutrition, I was skipping breakfast. I wasn't putting the right things in my body. I wasn't fueling myself appropriately. But when I started to get that stuff cleaned up, when I started to hydrate better, get the good sleep, really start treating my body better, it started responding better. So the pounds started coming off, but the weight and the emotional weight was being healed too. Because really it was a level of starvation. You know, I just didn't know what I didn't know and what I needed to kind of get back on track. So I'm just saying that to say to that person, you're on a journey to discover everything, all of the answers we may not have. Some of it we might have to, you know, I don't know if it's dispensing of it or putting it on the back burner or not making it as much of a priority, and shifting the priority to the things we can control, to the things that we can manage and shift, and finding happiness in one or two little successes and allow them to start accumulating. But the last thing I'll say on that is when I'm coaching women around finding our mojo again, I say wellness is multifactorial. There's 4 wellness quadrants that I focus on: our self-awareness, our body, you know, the physical part, and our nutritional health and things of that nature, sleeping, our A1C, all of this stuff, and body. But then there's financial health, and there's, you know, how we feel in that space, because now we're getting to a particular age. We might be dealing with debt. You know, we want to leave a legacy. So we got to start thinking about our financial health and the stress that causes, so we can create a plan there. And then relationships, our interconnections, our faith, you know, our faith walk, our family, friends, those F's are in that category. So all of that to me improves our level of well-being.
Yeah, that's so important. I think another thing I'm glad that you mentioned as well too, because I always try to bring this up and always try to make sure people do not forget this part. You said, excuse me, when I was not feeling myself, I went to my doctor and I told them this is what's going on with me. And I think that's a really, really important point to make, because so often we skip that step, or we think like, you know, maybe I just get over it. I'll get over it. And there are sometimes, you know, like you mentioned the A1C, but there's also things like hypothyroidism and other conditions that can make you feel really fatigued and depressed or sad, or just, you know, you don't know why you feel down as well too. And so I think it's important to make sure that you go get a physical and just get your, you know, get your health checked out. You know, there may be a reason why you're not able to really get your pep up that has nothing to do with you know, with you just feeling down. And if those things are normal, then, you know, be real, be honest with yourself, and make sure that you know, you are taking those steps. You know, you mentioned a couple times, wait, real quick, somebody else has something in here. So I'm gonna pop it up there so y'all can see it.
Okay.
No, it doesn't say. Not, it's back. The one that says when we go. I can't get it. When we go through. Okay, forget it. It says when we go through the change, it bothers our mind, our body and mind. You have to go. You have to figure out who you are, and you don't need medication to do that. That is part of it. Like you said, you know, definitely when you're going through, mind and body is part of it. So totally agree. Totally agree. But you got to make sure. And yes, Dr. Dade, I'm with you. You got to rule out those medical reasons. That's a really, really, really important point, because, you know, I see people hitting their head against the wall trying to figure out why they can't lose weight, for example, or why they, you know, can't get their mood up, and it's in, and we check something like TSH and see that they're hypothyroid. So one other thing I wanted to bring in, I want you to just kind of talk about a bit, because you mentioned it, and then I'll be quiet in case Danny has something to say that I just can't hear. But you talked about financial health a few times, and I think that that's something that I know definitely where and how I grew up. That was not something that was really talked about a lot, especially about the women in my household, and it definitely wasn't talked about. Like, you know, you know, Big Mama had a sock drawer. You know what I mean? Right? But and you knew it was a couple dollars in it, but it wasn't really about the really, I didn't have a mindset about that. And as I became an earner in society and things like that, I think that's something that I'd like for you to speak just a little bit about, because if, you know, one of the things I had put in this post was, what would I have told my 25-year-old self? And I'm with you, Cynthia, you know this, right? I'm with you, because my daughter is now in college. And so I see the things that I try to tell her to, you know, help her grow. And so what would you have told yourself about financial health, or what, you know, what things would you say now because some of us still need some financial help.
Wow. Yeah, and that's good to think about it. Like, what would we tell our children? Because, as I said, my youngest just graduated college, and he now has a job, and he lives independently in Ohio. So very excited about that for him. And I did kind of have a laundry list of things to share with him because, first of all, he was receptive and open and asking. So I was thankful for that opportunity to just share what I've learned and, discovered over the years. So the first thing, of course, we practiced a budget. He realized, hey, I'm going to be earning this amount. And so we talked about what you could conceivably have as your budget for your apartment rent. Like, let's not go overboard. Let's keep this at, and I don't remember the exact numbers. I'll look for it and I could share that. But there's calculators out there to just say, our budget should be, our housing budget should maybe be 15% of our take home income or whatever that number is. It could be higher. So that percentage of what his rental income or expense should be. Then we talked about, making sure you're paying yourself first. Honestly, that happened even before the rental thing. So if he had a job in corporate, so you're paying yourself first. You need to contribute to the 401k right away. As a young 22-year-old, go ahead and contribute. You won't miss it. And guess what? You'll look up and you'll have some money to invest in. If you do it in a Roth, you can buy your first house with this. You can use that Roth IRA money to finance education. Okay, so if you decide to go back for your master's now, you got a little nest egg already for that. So it was definitely pay yourself first off the top. And even in our own household budget, trying to make sure we have those things taken care of. So saving in his 401k, joining the credit union. Save some cash in there because that'll be your cash on hand, for small things that are emergencies that might come up. That's an opportunity to build that. It's been so elusive to get that 3 to 6 months of your income saved or your expenses saved. There's, rules out there or suggestions out there to save 3 to 6 months of your income, guys, based on how much your expenses are. So if you have, $5,000 a month in expenses, you want to save 3 to 6 months of that in just a safety nest egg. So it's always a goal, whether we hit it or not, that's something to have there. So of course I was teaching him that. What other tactic or strategy did I give? Beyond just, the budgeting thing is key. I will tell you, just in my marriage journey, I have had to, and I tell you guys, it's coaching, it's resources. We do not have to struggle. A lot of times when I was getting to the point where I felt like I was going to knock my head against the wall, and I really felt like I had, we were on this rat wheel kind of thing. You pay this bill down, you look up, the bill is accumulated again. You pay this card down and this next card is accumulated. I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this. And so I did Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace. And the Financial Peace gave me some great strategies that at least it was a foundation, because like you said, Dr. Tanksley, we didn't have it, just like this was what our parents taught us. So I had to seek it and at least have some sort of idea about what to do. And now there's so many other people out there. I know there's an African-American sister called the Budgetnista, so she teaches on this stuff, how to pay ourselves first, how to save, for a rainy day, how to prepare ourselves for tragedies when they may come. And then also, guys, multiple streams of income is definitely something that I encourage my kids to be aware of. For us, I have my, nursing job, salary income, but I'm having my coaching income, creating this opportunity through that. I have, a products-based business that I do where I can, tell you about nutritional supplements. So multiple streams of income are very important. And we should all recognize that right now after 2020. Yeah. One stream of income is no go. You better have a couple things hitting. Get your property and some rental income, or Airbnbs, whatever you want to do. But that's a long answer to it.
No, but I think that's so amazing, because
it was a necessary answer.
I'm part of that Live Richer Academy with the Budgetnista.
Yes, yeah, good.
And also in the past I did Lynn Richardson's.
Yep, I like her stuff.
Yeah, because I love MC Light, so that's her financial advisor. And so it honestly, I think that's so important because people don't realize. I read a book once. I'm a blank on the guy's name who wrote it, but he talked about the wealth cure. And he actually talked about he talked about how it really was, or the health cure actually, and how it was about really about making sure that you were healthy, not only physically and mentally and all of those kind of things, but financially as well. So I love the fact that that's a part of your strategy, because I don't think we talk about it enough. And especially as we are, trying to advise those people who may be younger than us, or may even be in that space already, or who cares what age we are. It's always important to hear about that. I just think it's dope that that's something you do. And that's one of the things I've heard Leon Richardson say too, is detrimental to your income to have one source, right? And so you really do want to, have more sources. I think that's important. Somebody in the chat said they're also a member of Tiffany's group in her financial. Oh, yes, me too. I love it. I think it's important to have a group. And then I think, Dr. Day had a really good point too. She said so many of us want to keep up with the Joneses.
Oh, yeah.
This keeps us in debt, especially credit card debt. What do you think about that? I think that is so, that's a good, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And keeping up with the Joneses, facades, or for us, it might have been over the years, maybe you're going out to dinner and you pay for the dinner for everybody, or some, you're trying to make this gesture that really you freaking can't afford. Like, I'm so thankful for COVID. It's like, okay, nope, sorry, we can't come. No, we can't go. It's been a blessing to have this opportunity to reset like that, and then to really, recognize what's important. Yeah. What really is important. And this has helped.
I think that's so important. Danny, I see you finna say something, so let me just say this and then I'm gonna be quiet, because I know I can't hear you. But I heard, one time, you hear them talk all the time, and I think it's so true. It's when you if you are, if you're trying to actually live like a millionaire, like people who are millionaires don't live like that, right? They live like as if they're like poor, essentially, right? They live very, very, very conservatively. They save their money. They buy quality over a bunch of quantity. And that's how they keep those millions. Whereas, you see somebody like, and I'm not picking on this person or anything, but you see somebody like Antoine Walker, who had all that money, and in a couple years after being out the league, he was broke, right? And so it's absolutely, I agree. I think keeping up with the Joneses, I used to say that to my friends, and I'm about to probably get blocked off a lot of people's pages, but I used to say that all the time, like, and my kids know, don't ask me for no pants that cost that, like, true religion. What? Don't ask me for that. Don't ask me for things that are that can go in a trust fund.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So what do you think, Danny? Because I would love to hear your perspective.
I was just going to say too, like, I guess speaking from the millennial aspect too, I think just the generational curse, or not even being used to having things. And so when you finally get your hands on some money, you out splurge and you want to buy this, you want to look a certain way, because a lot of people attach their security or their identity or their self-worth to material things. And so I think it's important to know to separate that too, because that's when you overspend and you overbuy, because you feel like you have to make this impression, or you have to look a certain way, or you have to have a certain thing to be respected, or to be looked at, or to be viewed. And so I think it's important for us to just be secure with ourselves too when talking about financially. And then too, like I said, a lot of times coming from nothing, we don't have a lot of education behind financial growth or financial wealth. And then our parents didn't know. We just seen them struggle and do the best that they could do. So then you get this mentality of, when I get it, I'm gonna live like this and I'm gonna do this because I didn't have that and I didn't have this, So I think that it's important to just have those conversations and be educated with financial wealth and financial growth, and knowing how to spend and how to save and how to budget, because you don't really see that much, and you attach a lot of who you are to what you can get and what you possess. So I think that's a big thing, a part of it too.
I was trying to look for this quote. It's Dr. Sonia Stribling, and just saying that, we might not have been born wealthy, but it's our opportunity. We have the opportunity to end wealthy. Like, we can change that. So yeah. Yeah, and budgeting and getting off the internet. All those Instagram people, they probably go home broke. You don't want to be that person. Like, you following the facade. So let's awareness.
Absolutely. So we are winding down, you guys. We have about a little less than a minute actually left in this broadcast. So you have been amazing. Thank you guys for all of your patience with me as I play with this new toy. I'm gonna figure it out before next
week.
A
great
so
job.
If y'all see me going like live, just randomly testing something out, that is what I'm doing. Okay. So I definitely, Cynthia, want to give you a chance to give people information on how they can follow you, or I know you have a few different handles, and you have definitely, as you mentioned, have some good streams,
multiple streams of income
that you have going, right. So we want to make sure that people know how to follow that and tap into those streams. And then we usually kind of end with something that people can kind of inhale and exhale as they go off into the rest of this week. So if you have anything that you'd like to share, you absolutely can.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again for the opportunity to be on the platform tonight. This was great. And I do appreciate the privilege to be here with you both. I will just say, first of all, I'm Cynthia M. Flowers on Facebook. So you can find me here, in cmfwellness.com is my website. But inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling peace and exhaling prosperity, maybe for 2021. How about that? That's it.
I love that.
Yes, I received that. And shout out to all the viewers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And they're saying that this was an amazing discussion. We really couldn't do it without you guys and your great questions. So thank you for tuning in. Please share the video. Tell your friends. And if you have a topic that you want to hear us talk about or for us to discuss, then drop it on the page, because we love to hear from you guys as well. So follow the page, tell a friend, and share the video. Cynthia, you were amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. Thanks everybody who joined. Thank you. So make sure that you share this video. We're gonna be talking about fitness next week, and about women's health in the next couple of weeks and stuff as well too. So looking so forward to this new year with everybody. So inhale peace and exhale prosperity. I love it. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night.